Have you ever felt the rhythm of life pulsing in perfect proportion? Like the way petals unfold, or the way moments seem to align beyond logic. These are the subtle touches of the golden code, an ancient harmony speaking through numbers, space, and time. As we integrate the Noah energies of this sacred convergence, let us attune our breath to the frequency of the divine spiral. Welcome to Sacred Mathematics, unlocking the golden code of time.
With the Galactic Spin Podcast and expand your view.
In Lakesh, greetings to one and all, and welcome to the Galactic Spin Podcast, episode 47, number 47. My name is Mikuak Rai, kin 126, and I am joined by my dear brother Rubén Llinás, kin 113. In Lakesh, brother Rubén.
In Lakesh, brother Mikuak. And again, thank you so much for holding space, virtual space, for this sacred pilgrimage towards the golden intersection. We are only 5 heptads away from the big day. So we are feeling the adrenaline rising. And it's certainly an amazing moment for us to be at this point after so many years of tracking this special moment.
It is coming together. It's just really quite something. And I'm excited for today's episode because we get to really look at the golden thread through the entire observation being made here, really.
Yeah.
And we can witness how this is connected with everything. So we give great thanks. Yeah.
And we give thanks to everyone that has been tuning in for the last episodes and for the entire podcast since October 7 of 2024 when we started. Here we are on the 47th episode, and in these last 7 chapters or 7 steps towards the golden intersection, we want to really wrap up and give a comprehensive summary of the most important or most relevant aspects regarding the golden intersection that we may have discussed before, but it's really important to bring back to memory.
Certainly, and being able to repeat in this way every 7 days as we have, it's just been really phenomenal to witness its emergence. In other words, like its own organic emergence of all of these amazing aspects of that golden thread. It's as if they're being spun together in this galactic spin, we could say. I want to give a special shout out to Ishel for that beautiful opening transmission on this Eve's episode, and also a shout out to Delia Sky. Those tones for today's synchronization and the harmonization were perfect in the mix with the beautiful video. So shout out to them for the ongoing creative contribution to really bring the feeling tone to what this is that we're endeavoring to do. And also a shout out to all of those tuning in around the world from wherever you may be. We give great thanks to you for staying tuned as we take this journey together, like you said, this pilgrimage towards the golden intersection of timelines. And it's truly an honor to serve in this way. It truly is a service. I mean, as we look forward to the gathering in Palenque, I mean, one of the reasons it's available to all is because this is truly a service. This is a whole new way, in a sense, of how to hold the space. And so we just want to pay homage to that and really give thanks to the sacred for the sacred. Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and
let's start.
Get into Earth's pulse. Yeah.
Yes, and here we are again. The sun keeps firing at us. Well, this one actually was a huge solar eruption that took place on August 2021, which was the 27th day of the magnetic moon. That fortunately the Earth was not on the path of this huge blast that we see on camera from this article of space.com. But it is, on the article, is recorded as one of the most important events of the solar cycle 25 because of the spectacular size of that eruption. Like I mentioned before, fortunately, we were not on that side of the sun, or the sun was not pointing at us on that moment, because we don't know what would happen. But we know that the sun is really the director of the orchestra that is taking place, the process of evolution that is taking place on Earth. So we are paying really close attention as the solar cycle 25 is winding down. Is still giving us these kind of shows, and actually today there was like two M flares and one C flare, and we are expecting tomorrow a geomagnetic storm. So there is still much to unpack for the sun until the solar cycle 25 ends, and the second.
Before we go on, let me mention this too. Before you go on, I saw something. It must have been on Instagram or something like that earlier today, where somebody was actually suggesting that the solar intensity is only going to increase, whereas we say, okay, the solar cycle may be coming to a close. There's actual evidence that that's not the case in this case, and so for the next few months into the next couple of years, they're saying that we may witness an increase in solar activity throughout this entire period. So, maybe there have been certain cycles set before now, though who's to say it can't adjust or evolve or express as it chooses to, particularly when we consider that we are in, we're in a solar cycle. We have a solar maximum based on that cycle that happens every 11 and 22 years, right? There's a whole cycle of that. And then we have the larger solar from lunar to solar cycle. We've talked about that a little bit before. Through some cosmovision, it's perceived that we're leaving a lunar cycle into a solar age currently, given the elliptical orbit of Earth around the sun. So we're at a point where we're closer in that ellipse to the sun. So the effect of the sun is going to be felt even more strong than before.
Yeah.
So just interesting and important to note, as you mentioned, as we pay attention, as the sun is the director of the orchestra.
Yeah, well, and it's actually, we all life on Earth depends on the sun. So everything that happens on the sun, because of its size and the influence that it has on the planet, is really important to track.
Yeah,
because it affects every aspect of life, and of course, it has been driving evolution on the planet for thousands and thousands of years.
I mean, it makes me think also of the radial plasmas and their purpose. When we talk about the radial plasmas, we're talking about solar energy being processed through our physiology, through our energetic field, as well as our physical spacesuits. And that's also how that information, that light information, that encoded information is getting in and unlocking us in many ways as well. So, yeah.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Yes, and the second note is well, it doesn't affect us that much, but is a beautiful demonstration of Tiny's art. A supernova blast that sculpts a ghostly hand-shaped nebula in the cosmos.
Wow.
So this is an image from NASA, from the Chandra X-ray Observatory, that shows a glowing hand stretching across the cosmos with its palm and fingers sculpted from the wreckage of a massive stellar explosion.
Looks like a blue hand to me.
Yes, it looks like a blue hand.
We see the blue cosmic hand right there.
Yeah, and it's like a blue hand of a baby. It's kind of it's
Wow.
like a nice shape in terms of the fingers. Looks really small, but it's like the hand of a baby.
Wow, that is spectacular. My goodness.
Yes, but there is nothing like more than this news of this couple of news. There is actually, we have been still tracking the interstellar visitor that is arriving to the solar system, is now in the solar system. Our last episode, we said that it hasn't arrived to the solar system. It's been there for at least a couple of weeks, and it's going to make its closest approach to the sun right after the golden intersection. So as we arrive to that point, we will be tracking this interstellar visitor, because now they are saying that because of its reflecting properties of light, it must be the size at least 20 miles, which is the size of Manhattan, more or less. And this professor from Harvard, who has been posting about this, is still saying that the more it approaches, the less it looks like a comet, more like a new kind of visitor. So we will be paying attention for the couple of months that we have until its arrival, because I actually the closest arrival to the sun is the end of October, and the closest approach to the Earth is on December, I think. So it's December 17, which is really close to the closing of the 13 years to December 21st, 2012.
Yeah, very close.
Yes.
Very close. Incoming. So we're watching for a visitor that evidently is approaching. Wow.
Yes. And it's making a lot of noise, really, on the web. A lot of people are speaking about this, and of course is sparking all types of theories and
I would imagine. Yes. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's going to be very interesting to pay attention to, just to get a sense of the speculations of people as to who or what this may be. Very interesting. Well, I mean, the timing is uncanny, as you said. It's going to be between the window of golden intersection and the completion of those 13 years.
Yeah.
So that's an auspicious timing. And I like to say, though time is an illusion, timing is everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's remember that we are approaching the golden intersection is a convergence of timelines and events.
It's like they're showing a party.
We certainly will be paying close attention to this interstellar object that is approaching.
Well, on that note, let's go ahead and sink in and tune up.
Yes.
All right. And as we navigate this yellow resonant seed year, we find ourselves in this beautiful window, as we see sort of represented there with that beautiful seal for this golden intersection. This next, now that we're in this lunar moon, we're really stepping into it more and more closely. So welcome to this moment.
Yes, and as we have been tracking, we finished 4 days ago the magnetic moon, the first moon of the 13 moon year, which is called the planetary service wayspell. We are now on day 4 of moon 2, day 3, sorry, of moon 2, and of this is the lunar moon of challenge. And as we mentioned on our last episode, this moon and the coming 9 moons are galactic activation portals according to the fractal count of 1 kin equals 1 moon. In this fractal count that we can see on the next slide, we can see that the magnetic moon corresponded to the magnetic serpent, the first kin of the 13th cycle of the serpent, and the second moon, which is the second stage of this cycle, is the white lunar wall bridger. And as we can see on the graphic, those highlights in green mark what we call galactic activation portals. On the right side of the screen, the diagram of the 1320 harmonic module, we can see that those 10 moons are basically the 10 kin that create what is called the alpha run of galactic activation portals, that goes from kin 106 to kin 115. And these are galactic activation portals are one of the 52 units that create the loom of Maya, or the pattern that resembles our DNA, binary polarity, and these days, or this kin, are special moments of heightened energy. So this entire cycle of 10 moons that we are entering right now is going to be a very intense period, probably. And the white lunar wall bridger, as we can see on the next slide, is inviting us to really take this tone 2, which represents polarity, as an opportunity to stabilize. And it's interesting also that the wall bridger that holds the qualities of the powers of death equally and the powers to equalize opportunity, that's what equalization and stabilization is, what we need right now on the planet. And it's a really beautiful opportunity to tap into also the ancestral lineage. That's what the wall bridger is all about. Just revisit our own lineage as we approach to the golden intersection, to really be complete with our parents, our grandparents, and the people who came before us, as we approach this special moment, so that we feel that we are ready to cross that threshold with no baggage of any kind. And I don't know if you want to add anything to this one, or to the next one.
Well, I was just also contemplating how you mentioned we're in that alpha run in terms of this sequence of moons. And we also find ourselves here in the last few days of the omega run on the other side in
Mm-hmm.
the Zolkin count.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
love the overlap of both of them and how it is intense. And
Yes.
we're going both with the alpha and the omega at the same time right now in different
Mm-hmm.
ways. And so just recognizing that, recognizing this lunar moon and what it invites in terms of the opportunity and the challenge for the
Yeah.
stabilization, it feels like we are stabilizing all parts,
Yes.
you know.
And also on the long count, we are right now transiting that wave spell of the serpent that we started today. Today is corresponds to the day 6 Ok, which is the dog
Hmm.
on the ancient Maya count. That means that it was 6 days ago that we started the 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 13-day cycle of the serpent in the long count, or the ancient Maya tracking system.
Wow. So everything is pulsing at different, levels on the same frequency,
Yes.
essentially. Yeah, that's really, really something at the same time. And so
Yeah.
it's happening at, different paces too. So
Hmm.
we're just aware of it at the pace of a moon, a pace of a heptad, or even a kin a day.
Yes. And because the fractal qualities of the synchronic order, we can see also that in just we can see here that the green square is where we are at the moment. Today is day 3 of this lunar moon, and it's the 11th day of the wave spell of the seed that we started on King 144. So we have only 2 days to close this cycle of the seed, and on the 6th day we will enter the wave spell of the earth. And as we can see on the left side of the graphic, the heptad fractal count of where one kin equals 7 days, we are in that wave spell of the earth, that we started. The first heptad of the first moon was kin 157, which is magnetic earth. The second heptad was kin 158, the lunar mirror. The third heptad was kin 159, the electric storm. And we are arriving at this golden intersection of the 260 heptad cycle, which is we can see here in also in green that the king 161 coding this entire heptad that we are now transiting. It represents the golden section, and on day 10 and day 9 of this moon, we will go through that golden intersection. Actually, our next episode would be on king 161. So there is a major overlap between the long count and the moon count, between the alpha and the omega galactic activation portals, and in between the fractal count of heptads and the count of kin or days. So all these cycles are overlapping, and as we approach the golden intersection, that's an indicator that there is an increased level of coherence taking place.
Because really, we'll be doing it again in another format
Mm-hmm.
come the golden intersection of timelines. We'll be doing this according to the traditional Maya Zolkin, right?
Yeah.
At that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's very interesting because we're doing it now according to the galactic timing. So the
Yes.
galactic timing is leading into that some 44 days later at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we can really count it like that and track it like that too. As of
Yeah.
today, we're literally 50 days away from that point.
Mhm.
So here we
Yes.
are. Yeah. Getting
Yeah.
tighter and tighter in the spiral, that's how it really feels.
Mm-hmm.
And as
Yeah,
we're
we are feeling it
getting
more and
tighter,
more.
we're witnessing the interfacing of these perfect ratios in
Hmm.
number, which
Yeah.
is undeniable. And
Yeah.
that's the beautiful part about it, just to witness these factors at play, how they're
Mhm.
displaying themselves. It's really something.
Yeah, and the next wave spell we will also have on the 7th of September. We will have a lunar eclipse, and
It's
the
true.
it will be only a couple of days away from the last day of the wave spell of the Earth, that is the moon. So there's an we'll speak more about it on next episode.
Right. That'll be a blood moon lunar eclipse, a
Yes.
total
Uh-huh.
full moon lunar eclipse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Auspiciously placed as
Yeah,
you.
and we see here that golden intersection, that is the graphic that we have been showcasing for the last 7 years, when we made the discovery, that it was really a discovery by John Major Jenkins, who in already in 1994, on his book, Solkin, Calendar Studies and Visionary Perspectives, he he was able to pinpoint that the beauty about the 260-day cycle is that it is fully embedded with the golden ratio. That's what makes the cycles match so well all organic processes.
Yeah. What's interesting to me too is, as you said, I mean, this is something that, we began to make conscious 7 years ago or so. And it's
Mhm.
also what gave to the evolution of what we call the harmonic factor, is really making conscious the weaving of this golden thread throughout all of these calendrics.
Yeah.
Its presence as that so-called fingerprint of God showing up
Mhm.
in physiology, in space, though to really anchor a recognition of it actually showing up in the design of time itself,
Yeah.
as we
Yeah.
see as number is informing all.
Mhm.
As the prophecy says, all is number.
Yes.
So it's just a beautiful thing to make conscious now, as we're in this crescendo to the golden intersection, uh, to really present this in as many ways as possible, to make
Mhm.
conscious among a growing collective of human beings, to recognize that interweaving, um, harmonic aspect to life itself, how we can
Yeah.
see its operation, its function. So turning the attention to that has been really a profound exercise, I would say, in terms of just holding and tracking these things like we do.
Yeah, and this is what we were discussing before, the this cycle of the seed that started on Kin 144 and will end on Kin 156, right after we close this 10-day galactic activation portal cycle that goes from Kin 146 to Kin 155. We can see that we will be closing also this cycle of 52 kin, called the blue castle, that we see on the right, and we'll be entering on in 3 days. We will be entering the yellow castle, which is the castle of heptads, like we mentioned before, that we entered this year. So those 52 kin that will be entering are the same 52 kin that code the 52 weeks of this entire year. So let's say that in 3 days we will live in every day a little fractal of the entire year.
I
For
love
50.
I love how that's how it's behaving that way.
Mhm.
It's really something.
Yeah, and the golden intersection is right there. It's right in that castle.
Wow, wow,
Mm.
wow. The weaving is beautiful. So as you mentioned, we're currently navigating uh, in this process here on
Yes.
this Kin 154. And so we can see in a couple of more kin, we'll be stepping into
Hmm.
that frequency match, which is good news because we're also in this lunar moon or lunar tone or month, as it were, which we know is about stabilization through
Yeah.
polarization and all
Uh-huh.
the challenge that may bring about, as well as opportunity, as we can look at it through a positive force lens and see
Yeah.
the ways in which we can grow or evolve. And it's
Uh-huh.
causing our gifts to emerge. So I'm anticipating over the next several kin, we're going to see some beautiful emergence of our gifts, particularly over this next wave spell.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be something really.
Yes, and let's remember that the kin that codes this moon, kin 106, is one of the clear signs carved in stone on the sarcophagus of Pakal Botan. Is the only sign that is carved on the north side of the lid, and is the birth sign of his son, Khan Balum, his successor to the throne, and is also connected to Mars, to the polarity of Mars, being the world bridger, the galactic karmic aspect of planet Mars. So it's a prophetic moon, the one that we are entering. Of course, this moon comes also with the fact that we are going to have this blood moon eclipse. It started on a new moon 3 days ago, so there is the emotions may be boiling a little bit on this cycle, but the purpose of navigating and tracking the time in these ways to really make conscious those unconscious aspects. Especially the moon is connected to our unconscious side, and our subconscious also. So there is a way of making it conscious and allow those emotions to express in a healthy way, not in a destructive way.
Beautifully said. I'm not sure if looks like I might have two of the same slides here, so I don't want to repeat.
Oh yeah, maybe
yeah.
It was repeated.
But yeah, I'm excited because again, this is really helping us focus in on the sacred mathematical aspect of this, which, as was said, all is number. And I also want to acknowledge in the live chat, Ishel is mentioning over this coming Red Earth wave spell, 13-day cycle, that she and I as well are endeavoring to do a continue. We've been detoxing. So even more deliberately, just working with this wave of energy to deepen our own personal journeys through detoxing, mentally, physically, energetically, and so on. And so inviting others to tap in with us, because if we do it together, there's a strength in that collective field. So for those that want to know more, tap in the live chat with Ishel, and she'll be happy to engage with you in terms of what she's doing, what we're doing here at home, and ways that others might be able to participate in their own home in their own way. As we hold that as another way to activate these energy and these cycles.
Yeah, it's so important to become clean vessels for the energy that is incoming.
Ooh,
and of course,
incoming.
And of course, all the toxicity and the noise that permeates through the food, through the air, through all of that. We need that purging and that cleansing to really allow the body to be ready to integrate the energy that is coming in.
Exactly. I mean, I love how you characterize it, because it is, it's a synthesis. It's just a merger of energy happening. And so, as you mentioned, to be able to create space for that, the spaciousness in our own fields, so as not to get it confused,
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. We want to be as clean and clear as we can be. Just as the same is with the energy of the sun. That's what the sun is doing to us and through us. Its effect is to cleanse us.
Yeah.
That's its effect every day, keeping the equilibrium of all life on this planetary system, in the solar system. It's just its nature is sustaining life. And so it does that very similarly through constant purification,
Yeah.
repurification, you know. So, yeah, we give thanks. But yeah, let's journey into time as art. And thank you to everybody tuning in out there with us. So grateful to have you along for the conversation. And we're going to start out actually with a little video. I think I'm going to jump to the video when we
Okay.
enter. Yeah, just to play.
Yeah, it is a good way to set up
Yeah,
the thing.
exactly. Exactly. Okay, well, here we go. Well, that was an interesting abrupt end there. That was unintentional. Though we will put a link to the video in the chat. Truly an incredible video. And we had that previously displayed on the harmonicfactor.com website, though we have no video up in its place currently for some of what's happening now with the new yellow resonant seed year, for example. So we will definitely put a link in the credit to the video in the live chat. So thank you. So you can check it out and see it in its completion. And sorry for that abrupt completion.
No, no, we actually, I noticed that you replaced the music because we don't want to get like flagged by YouTube for
Yeah.
using copyright. But we recommend everyone to
See what
check
happens.
the video created by a Spanish artist called Cristobal Vila. The video is 15 years old, but it looks still so amazing and so well done,
So relevant.
so relevant.
So
Yeah.
relevant. Yeah. Nature by
Numbers.
numbers. And yeah, so we'll make sure we get the credit exactly right for that. Indeed. Wow. Yeah, it's just beautiful. I almost want to play it back, but I'm going to make sure we put the link here for folks just to see it for themselves. And just make sure I'll put it there right now in real time. So that way we can give proper credit to the artist. As you mentioned, the video's been around for a while, but as you mentioned also, it's as if it was just made yesterday at the same time.
Yes, and it really shows the multidimensional nature of the golden ratio from the macro to the micro. It's everywhere. We only need to have the right set of eyes to appreciate that this mathematical constant permeates all aspects of life, and that's why it has captivated artists, sages, philosophers, and scientists for many centuries, and inspire them also to apply this sacred proportion to everything that human beings have created, from architecture to art to new inventions. Even music also has the golden ratio. We will explore that a little bit more on the episode that is dedicated to art. We will see several examples of the application of the golden ratio in sculpture, in paintings, in music, and as we can see on the next slide, what we were seeing on the video is really that expression of the golden spiral, or the Fibonacci spiral, also known. That is this sacred proportion or relationship that exists between the unfolding of patterns in nature. And we can see here our logo is basically inspired by the fact that the first 7 stages of that spiral, when we complete stage 7, which is one cycle of creation, like the 7 colors of the rainbow that we appreciate, we arrive to number 13. And that's basically what makes the application of the sacred proportion to time so important and so relevant, because we know that there is another sacred proportion within the cycles of time, which is 4:7 or 7:13. So the 4 is the middle of 7 units, and the 7 is the right center or axis of the 13 units of any cycle. So the qualities of number 7 and 13, if we add also 7 plus 13, we have the 20, which is the frequency of the vigesimal system of that the Maya devised as the right way to measure time by vigesimal mathematics, not by decimal mathematics. So those two numbers are the really the organizing principles behind the golden ratio, number 7 and number 13. And here we have the definition that we put on our website is the phi ratio, also known as the golden proportion or divine proportion, is a mathematical constant present in the natural unfoldment of forms across the universe and is reflected in the Fibonacci numerical sequence. Along this sequence, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, and 233, each number is in golden proportion relationship with its predecessor and holds the harmonic resonance of the phi ratio, which is defined as the number 1.618033 to the infinite, because it's an irrational number. Because it's a mathematical constant that has no end. That's why it's also a mystery, because it's one of those numbers that never come to an end. So they're infinite, and that's why they are called irrational numbers. But what they hold is the magic of creation. And we can see it present in nature here in the science of exploring the growth of branches and petals and seeds on plants is called phyllotaxis. And here we can see some, this is not for all trees, but a lot of these trees, that's the pattern that they grow from the big trunk. It divides in two, and the two divides into three, and the three divides into five, and so on and so forth until the little branches at the end add to 21. And we can see also on the right different arrangements of petals around the stem of a flower. So we can see again flowers with one petal, flowers with two petals, with three, with five, with 8, with 13, with 21, 34, and 55. And it's like in the video, they are expressions of an intelligence that permeates all aspects of life. That's why getting used to appreciate these frequencies and these numbers within the cycles of time is also so important, because it really allows us to perceive the similarities and the patterns that intersect space and time. This is another expression of the relationship between the numbers. As we can see, these are golden rectangles nested within each other. One has a measure of 5 units, the other one is a measure of 8, 13, 21. And we can see when we divide those numbers, the larger number divided by the smaller number, it's always close to the golden ratio, to the golden number, which is 1.618033. But certainly, and honoring the fact that we are transiting the wave spell of the seed, which is Kim 144, we notice that it is 144 divided by 89, the one that approaches the most to the golden ratio. That's probably because, like we mentioned before, 144 is the only square number besides 0 and 1 that shows up in this progression. That goes to the infinite also. We can keep adding numbers, and in another chapter, another episode, we will explore that progression and the discovery that we made like 4 years ago, when we apply the first 20 Fibonacci numbers to a cycle of time, and we discover a hidden pattern, which is the Fibonacci 20 harmonic module that contains 26 Solkins in the first 20 numbers of the Fibonacci sequence. So Fibonacci 20 is 6,000 765, and that's really close to the Fibonacci 20 frequency within this progressive spiral. But we will see that in the episode connected to synchronicity. For today, we really wanted to explore the basics, because this is still, we notice by some comments and some feedback that people still get a little confused by how this new science, which is really not new, what is new is the application of this science to time, works out, and how can we apply that to our personal lives. We will see at the end a little example of that, and see the magic behind it. But the important aspect is that the more we become familiar with these numbers and this sequence, the more we will be able to appreciate it in everyday life, and in how it shows up, maybe in our phone numbers or our addresses, or the amount of money we pay at the restaurant, or our license plate, little things like that. Number is always speaking. We just need to pay attention to really connect the dots, and perceive that there is a magic happening every day, at every instant, between our perceptions of time and our perception of space. And the more familiar we are with these patterns, the more harmony we are able to experience.
Beautifully said.
And here what we see is just the basic mathematics behind it. When we see phi on a line, by the way, phi, which is the 21st letter of the Greek alphabet, 21 being also like a Fibonacci number, and is that circle divided by 2. That in the Maya notation, if we rotate 90 degrees, that's the 0. That's the way that the 0 is noted. And in this graphic, what we can see is that what the golden ratio, or the golden proportion, describes is the relationship between two parts and the whole. So we can see how here the green represents the whole, and the red represents one section or one part, and the B represents the other section or the other part of the whole. And what we see is that the sum of the two parts is to the greater part. In this term, the equation is A plus B is to A was what A is to B. That's basically, in a nutshell, what the golden ratio is that the relationship between the whole and one of its segments, it's the same relationship like between the longer segment and the shorter segment. And when we give to those letters numbers, we can assign to A number 1 and to B the fraction of the golden ratio, 0.618, and we can see how both of them create the golden number 1.618. So that's kind of a basic approach, because there are mathematical formulas that connect to the root of 5 divided by 2 plus 1, and that's also a way of extracting the golden ratio. But this is the most simple and easy way for people to connect to this sacred proportion or sacred ratio that permeates all life, and that is present in our everyday activities in many ways. in our own body. We can see on the next slide also how the if we apply this I think that that was another slide. I was supposed to have that at the end. Can we see what is the next after that one? What is the next one? Because I have in the next one I have here the human body, the golden ratio in the human body. Okay. Yeah, we want to save this one for the end because this is how actually the golden intersection of timelines is speaking to us in a personal way when we arrange the 443 years that is the span of the Gregorian calendar from 1582 to 2025. When we put it on a human scale, it's 44.3 years. But if you can locate the one with the human body, that would be great. And the DNA is the one that comes after that. That's the one. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is the golden ratio in the human body. And as we can see, if we place a human within a golden rectangle, we can see that the source of the spiral is the heart. So basically our hearts are the measure of harmony within our own bodies and the origin of the spiral. That's why we have been emphasizing so much that the best way to prepare for the golden intersection is to stay in our hearts, because that's where the origin of the spiral is. We can see on the right side also the golden rectangle on the Vitruvian Man, which is the Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece. It's a canon for human proportions. And we can see how also the golden spiral starts at the heart. So it's a beautiful way to appreciate how it is informing us. It is informing our field and the way that the heart beats. It has we mentioned in a prior episode. There are 7 muscles at different angles that are expanding and compressing at also at golden ratio intervals. That's why the more we pay attention to our breath and our hearts, the more coherent our field becomes, because the heart creates the electromagnetic field around our bodies. So if we want that field to be coherent, it's so important to stay in the heart. Every time that we move to the mind, we are out of sync or out of tune with the source. So the brain is important, but it is really the heart-brain coherence what makes our field coherent. If you want to add anything to that one.
No, I think that's great advice. Obviously that's goals. Stay in the heart as much as possible. I was looking at something earlier today as well. I saw in passing a video of someone actually unraveling a heart, and you can see how it's folded into itself, like it's a spirally wrapped. Like it literally will unravel, when they actually do that with the heart itself. So that was quite interesting, and I'd heard that before. some months ago. In fact, our brother Rupert was sharing that with us, if we recall. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is an illustration, a technical illustration of our DNA taken from this. It was from 1992 imagery of biology. I cannot read the text here, but we just want to show that there is also the at that micro scale, because this is really, we are seeing what is happening inside a chromosome, and a chromosome is a very tiny cell. So this is magnified thousands and thousands and thousands of times for us to appreciate. But the relationship between the coiling of the spiral between the two coils, which is the proportions in between the coiling, this is also important to notice that it's for the DNA molecule called the B DNA. We have A DNA, B DNA, and O DNA. I think it's the three types of DNA. And the DNA molecule, the program for all life, is based on the golden section. It measures 34 angstroms long by 21 angstroms wide for each full cycle of its double helix spiral. We can see in both of these infographic that relationship, the height and the length of that spiral creates, or one module of the spiral to be more accurate. They are both in at that small distance, which is nanometers. They hold that frequency of the 34 and the 21. So that's the beauty of the golden ratio, that is operating at a microscopic scale and at a macro scale, like galaxies and like the shape of a hurricane. And if we actually expand on that, we probably will cover that in another episode. But all the progressive, the binary progression of the DNA, which is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, it's all, when we multiply those numbers by 5, we get numbers connected to the 260-day cycle. We will have that for a coming episode, but it's so important just to recognize that it's inside us, and it's also shaping the proportions of our body. So to summarize, is at the DNA level, at the micro scale, and at the macro scale is in our hearts. That's the golden point of the human body, or the golden section. And what we want to explore is the presence of that golden ratio within the fabric of time. This is within the fabric of space, but within the fabric of time, if this we place here the 13 moons, but it can be 13 days, or it can be 13 weeks, or it can be 13 years. And every time that we reach unit 5 and unit 8, we are at one of the two golden sections within the cycle of 13. So that's what we are showing here, and what makes also the symmetry of measuring both of those sections is that we can connect to the spiral coiling in and the spiral coiling out. And the application of this at a micro scale is on the 13 Bactun map of of the history, human history, or history of civilization that starts like we mentioned in our last episode, on the year 3114 BC, at the beginning of the Sumerian civilization in Mesopotamia, and that the cycle of 13 Baktuns these are 13 cycles of 144,000 days, and we can see here how Baktun 13 started in the year 1618, which is the fractal of the golden ratio. So we see here the convergence of these three numbers, number 13, number 144, and the golden number within that cycle, which is the cycle where when the mechanization of time took place, the invention of the mechanical clock, the advancement of the Industrial Revolution that ended in 2012 with the emergence of artificial intelligence. So that mechanical clock kind of opened the door for the machine to evolve at a faster pace that is out of sync with nature. So what we are making conscious for this golden intersection is that since we are now closing a fractal of the cycle of 13 stages of human evolution, each one of 144,000 days, equivalent to approximately 400 years, or 20 cycles of 20 years, which is 20 generations, we are redeeming that mechanization of time just by making this conscious. And as we can see on the next graphic, or the next slide, is that this fractal count of tunes, in which each cycle of 360 days corresponds to one cycle of 144,000 days, or we can say that at this fractal scale, each cycle of 360 days that has elapsed since the year 2012 is a fractal of the entire evolution of the human species, but compressed in 13 cycles of 360 days, called tune. And we are right now, since October 19, 2024, on cycle 13, that will close at the golden intersection of timelines of October 14 and 15 of 2025. So we are basically in that magenta cycle, where we are redeeming or making conscious everything that our ancestors went through to bring us here. And that's why the golden intersection is such an amazing opportunity to really wrap up that karma and start from a new space, from a place of harmony, from a place of unity, and a place of forgiveness for what the machine has caused to our human species. And in the next slide, we can appreciate also how, if we apply this cycle of 443 years that we are closing of the Gregorian calendar, that corresponds to the golden number, we see that if we divide 161,803 days divided by 365.2422, which is the exact measure or duration of the Earth's rotation around the sun, we have 443 years. And if we divide a fractal of that number, which would be 16,180 days, that would be 44.299 or 44.3 years. That means that at a fractal scale, the golden ratio in days, or the golden number in days, represents a scalable measure for our own individual lives. Every time that we arrive to 44.3 years, we are crossing the golden number in days of our passage through this third dimension. And when we apply that, we decide to create an example for this episode, which is measuring that cycle for Dr. Jose Arguelles. And he was born, as we can see on the next slide, he was born on January 24, 1939, at the heart of the 13 moon years, the 15th day of the resonant moon. But when we add in a time calculator, that number of days, 16,810 days, we arrive to May 13, 1983. And we see here, because of course, being Jose Arguelles, a human being so attuned to these frequencies, even the Gregorian date is a match of golden numbers. May 13 is the fifth month, and the 13th day of the fifth month of the Gregorian calendar. And in the 13 moon, 28-day synchronometer, it corresponds to Kin 60, which is day 8 of Wayspell 5, that is commanded by the solar seal 13, the Skywalker Wayspell of prophecy. So we see here how his life, even at this scale, is connected to the life of Pakal Botan, that's the birth sign of Pakal Botan, is the 8th Ahau in the traditional Maya count, which the equivalent will be Kin 60 on the galactic Maya count. And we found this as a really beautiful confirmation of the application of the golden ratio to the measurement of time. And actually his entire life is like a melody. That's why we had this picture of him playing the flute, and kind of out of the flute come these frequencies or these melodies, because as we can see on the next slide, most of the numbers within this sequence represent important milestones within his life or within his legacy. We can see, well, of course, 0 is, he included the 0 to 19 code. He in the Mayan factor, that's what makes his entire legacy so important, which is bringing back that importance of number 0 to the Western world as the basis of the vigesimal count that goes from 0 to 19, not from 1 to 20. The number 1, which is the day of the harmonic convergence, was on 1 Imish, the equivalent of Kin 1. Well, number 2, of course, he came to this world with Loidin Arguelles. She was Wind, which is number 2. Number 3, the 3 dots of the banner of peace. Number 5, the 5th force, the application of the knowledge of the 5th force oracle and the science, the 5 forces in nature We have the gravity, electromagnetism. We have the weak forces within the atom, the strong forces, which are what cause the atomic reactions, and we have the synchronic force, which is the fifth force, the force that synchronize all the other four forces together. We have number 8, which corresponds to the galactic tone, and he brought to the world the concept of galactic culture. Number 13, the 13 moon calendar change peace plan and the 13 moon calendar change peace movement. Then number 21, which is the application of the Hunapku 21 tree of life to measure the 52 heptads of the week. This is an advanced application of the synchronic order. And of course, 21 is also the basis of, or the root of the 441. The 441 matrix is basically the matrix of unified totality. We have explained this before, but 20 represents the number of totality. 21 is the number of unified totality. We have 20 solar seals plus one unity, which is Hunapku. And number 34, the day that the new dispensation of time started on July 26, 1987, Kin 34, then the harmonic convergence on Kin 55, electric eagle. Kin 89 is the day that he left this plane, and March 23rd, 2011, the same day that Pakal Votan arrived to the world in the year 603. And finally, 144, we go back to the beginning of this wave spell, which is the day that the telecton and prophecy of Pakal Votan was revealed to Jose Arguelles Balloon Votan. So we can see here also how in the span of a lifetime, these numbers are informing the life of Jose Arguelles, and it's an amazing confirmation to that the count of days also brings back to this connection with the ancient prophet known as Pakal Votan.
All is number.
Yeah.
I think you definitely just demonstrated that. Wow. Well, certainly, I hope people are getting a perspective on how this golden thread is weaving through all creation and all expressions of creation. And we can see that in our own lives as well. You just gave the example of how these numbers show up in his lived experience and his representation. Though I want to encourage people to also recognize you can calculate 16,180 days from your birth and determine your exact own personal phi day for yourself. So just something to note that we'll be experiencing the Phi Day on October 15, 2025. But as you've also just shown, we can look at that and identify our own personal Phi Day. Now, if you're past the age of 44 and 3 months, it's still a great tool to reflect on where you were at the time of your particular Phi Day, just like you demonstrated with Jose Arguelles' life. The fact that his Phi Day shows up as the frequency of Kin 60, I mean, that you can't mess it up. And I know Ishel, for example, she happens to be in the window of her Phi Day, having just crossed that threshold back on 5/28, or the 28th of May this past 2025. And so she's still in the field of that energetic right now, very much so. And so it's wonderful just to reflect for those out there that want to calculate it for yourself. Again, 16,180 days from your day of birth. That will be your Phi Day.
And the beauty of it is that if you calculate it, then every time that day comes around, you can make it conscious that that was your golden intersection on a personal life, and adds a new layer of meaning and synchronicity to your personal story. Because of course, is going to be a different kin from your kin of birth, but it holds a special significance because it is connected to this entire new way of perceiving time. And for instance, for me, it was also important to find out that mine is kin 162. So every time that kin 162 comes around, and this was before this took place in 2017 when I went through that window of 44.3 years, but I only make this conscious in a retroactive way. So if you're watching this and you are below that threshold, look for it. And if you already passed that threshold, just go back and see if you can find like a new layer of meaning behind it, because it's another clue that we left to ourselves to navigate this reality.
Exactly. Wow. Well, thank you again. That was a beautiful, beautiful demonstration and presentation. Just the graphics and the symmetry. I mean, I revel in that, because when we look at these designs, they are exquisite as an expression of art themselves. And so just to reflect that and to see the beauty and the balance that you're able to demonstrate through the illustrations is really helpful, because it does reflect that back to us as people appreciating what we're observing. So thank you for that effort. And as we are in this time as art frequency, I wanted to go ahead and drop a track in the mix, one of my own original tracks, actually. I want to pull from my EP from a couple of years ago called Love Notes to Self.
Oh, yeah.
The song titled Burn Up. And I was inspired to play this song because when Ishel created the graphics for this episode, she was tracking also the demonstration or the material you all are using for the upcoming presentation with Ina there in Mexico City, where you'll be actually kin 162. So in next heptad, you and Alejandra, our sister Alejandra, will be presenting to Ina, which is a very special opportunity to make a presentation on the observations of the golden intersection of timelines and the way that we're navigating these 7 episodes to close this 52 heptad ceremony is to provide the framing and the frame of reference that you'll be sharing with these experts and these various intellects and academics and professionals in the various fields, really concerning, though, the Institute on Natural Anthropology and History in the country of Mexico. It's a beautiful opportunity to be able to present your work, these observations, to these esteemed colleagues. I think it's fantastic. And, just excited for that. And we know that's coming up. And we know there's a lot of energy over this next several heptads leading up to the golden intersection of timelines. We're anticipating greater participation and really more and more people catching wind, literally, of this energy as we make this approach. And, so all that to say, I was inspired by Ishel's design. If you remember the flame and the fire with the graphic being that we're in the color orange. Last episode was red. And so we're going through ascending through the color spectrum, essentially, for these 7 episodes. In a similar way as you're formatting the presentation for Ina. And we'll be able to share those materials with folks as well following this episode. So you all have a reference for that as well. In Spanish, for those who speak Spanish, you'll really love that. And others can certainly use a translation tool if you'd like. But it's a great posit for the collective consciousness, noospherically, to be putting this on the record, particularly
Yes.
in such an esteemed institution like INA. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
would,
We wanted to make sure that the people here that are holding the treasures of this culture, which is the people from INA, Instituto Nacional de Antropología y Historia, that they are aware that this is happening, so that they can value this treasure in a more in a very different way, because this is not dead information. This is not in the past. It's still alive, and
yeah.
especially here in Mexico, the ancient practices and the traditions are still very alive.
Mm.
We just need to bring back the element of time, which has been a little bit forgotten, not by some of the indigenous peoples, but by a lot of the general population. So basically, we are sitting here on top of a sacred treasure for humanity. And it's so important that the people that are in charge of guarding that treasure and stewarding this vault of knowledge and wisdom, that they can still see and witness that it's speaking to us today. It's not in stone and is not in ancient codices, but it's still alive and it's still informing us on a daily basis. And we certainly trust that they will be able to appreciate, and that we will plant the seeds for the institutions here to bring back this to schools, to teach this entire new science to the kids from an early age, and bring back everything that made this land and this culture such a beacon for human civilization.
Well, I tell you, on behalf of everybody tuning in, we send you all both the best wishes for that opportunity to make this presentation. Just know that we're there with you all in spirit and energy. And shout out to Alejandra as well for her design inputs, as well with the graphics and what you all have been collaborating together. You, Rubén, and Alejandra have been developing, that inspired Ishel to create the animated version. And we'll share that now with this track we have called Burn Up, because part of the preparation is, as we've been talking about, detoxifying and clearing up and burning up all delusion. Yeah.
I love that.
Getting the record straight.
Yeah, I love that song.
Aho. In Lakesh. Burn up all delusion. Love will burn up all confusion. Living in a solar age, they wanna try and block the sun. All the world's a stage, and it's a curtain call for some. Everything done in the dark will have to come to the light. Solar maximum started as a spark, and it's about to reach new heights. Burn up all delusion. Love will burn up all confusion. Don't even think for a bit, AI is more intelligent than Earth. 'cause she'll be having none of it. You've been the highest tech since birth. You come equipped with codes programmed into your soul. Through your breath, aligned with source, giving you complete control. Burn up all delusion. Love will burn up all confusion. As the fire gets hotter, lift your vibes, align your chakras from root to crown. Follow your anahata, not insiders. More like script rewriters, no dividers. We be love and light igniters. The natural elements, yeah, they really make sense. So we consciously connect in a world so dense. With the ether, air, earth, fire, water. Like the sun, we blaze a path for all our sons and daughters. Like the sun, we blaze a path for all our sons and daughters. Like the sun, we blaze a path for all our sons and daughters. Burn up all delusion. Love will burn up all confusion. Burn up all delusion. Love will burn up all confusion. Yes, indeed.
Love that song.
Giving great thanks. Just deposit some high resonance vibes in the field. Hope you all feel that one. We are in this solar max, as we are all talking about, and by all accounts, it's only going to get hotter.
Mhm.
So hold on. Give thanks for the energy out there. And y'all find that track. Go to my Bandcamp, download the album, the EP. Find it if you're on Spotify or Apple Music. Go ahead and stream it. It's all good. The artists don't make anything off those streams, by the way. But in any case, we put it out there for the high resonance service to the universe at this time. And when we do release it here in the near future under the new imprint, Indigenous Entertainment, you'll be able to actually get it. And then the money you pay for it will actually help and go to the artists. It won't be dispersed out to the winds by all these other folks who got their hands in the cookie jar out here when it comes to talent and art. So, and folks are boycotting Spotify at the moment with good reason. I am as well. Even though my stuff happens to be sitting there, it's there for a service to humanity. And if somehow your destiny leads you to the music of Mikuak Rai on Spotify, then hey, I'm all right with that. In any case, you can certainly buy it, support the artist through Bandcamp. That's one example. Bandcamp does at least give a majority percentage of the proceeds to the artists out there. So that's one good method. While we're also working to build a better world and create better methods to deliver this high resonance medicine music to the people of planet Earth. So all that said, we also welcome you to scan your screen right now to go ahead and donate and download the current year NS1.38 Yellow Resonant Seed Year Synchronometer. As you can see, 13 moon, 13 month, 13 tone, 28-day harmonic synchronometer with that powerful artwork, as we've been talking about today, the beauty of the divine sacred mathematics evident in all of creation. And this year is a total celebration of that reality. So want to encourage you again to scan your screen And if you happen to be on your cell phone device right now, you can always take a screenshot of the image on your screen and then go into your photos and hold down the QR image, and it should trigger the opening to an option to open up the web page. And then you can make a donation and get the PDF right there on your device. And it's beautiful high-res graphics, tons and tons of information in there just to help you get in tune and in sync with what's happening and where things are. And speaking of in tune and in sync, we are literally 50 days away from the golden intersection of timelines. Now, bear in mind, we've been holding this ceremony since how many days out? 366 or something like that? Like some far out number. Not to mention, we have been holding space for this actually since the year 2021, when we started the 1440 day count towards this mark. So, we've been consciously holding this space nearly for 13,000, actually, well, I guess, 1390 days up to now. We have 50 days left.
Yes.
So we'll complete this 1440 in 50 days. We'll complete this 52 heptad ceremonial space we've been holding also as we near this golden intersection. I know we've mentioned it's 52 episodes. We're going to look at having a +1 to cap it all off as a very special commemorative space prior to the actual get. And so we'll look forward to the physical gathering. So that will be the one that we really want to tap in with people around the world. We're going to really be doing a big push. If you're interested in helping us spread the word, we do have press releases. We have materials. We would really ask that you celebrate and share through your social networks the materials that you can find on our Facebook page, which is Harmonic Convergence 2028, or you can find it on our Instagram account at The Harmonic Factor, as well as at Golden Intersection on Instagram. So we want to encourage you to go find some of those resources and just help us spread the word, because we do want to have as many people as we can informed about this. It's going to happen whether we're aware of it or not, but certainly having some semblance of humanity holding space for this is really our heart's intention. And as we do recognize, this is very akin as an echo and a ripple to the harmonic convergence of 1987, as well as the closing of the cycle in December of 2012. This is a new expression of that. This is a 13 tune wave, literally to the day. I mean, it's just phenomenal when you look at the factors. So we do encourage people to go ahead and help us spread the word about this. Just let people know. Let people know about their Get Fi. Let people know about that time when they're 44 years old and 3 months, and the significance of that as we really are counting now this 443rd year of this Gregorian calendar. What does that all mean? What can it mean? I think what it can mean is up to us. It really is impacted by the meaning we apply to it also. We're, as much as we're being informed, we're also informing the creation. So we can apply our heart's intention and our co-creative conscious energy to this as well. So I say we see beauty, we see alignment, we see harmony. It's impeccable. And it's nature at its finest, expressing itself as just sheer beauty. Time is art. And so that's the qualitative expression we see it taking. And I'm sure many of you out there tuning in also see something similar. Maybe even in your own lives, and the way you're moving and feeling, and how you're evolving and emerging into your truest self, and to the code and quality of your truest self. I do really want to encourage folks out there tuning in that this may be new information for. You may never have heard that you have a galactic signature, for example. Go to lawoftime.org. It's just the first one that comes to mind to encourage you, or 13moon.com. Those are two great resources where you can go and simply decode your birth date to determine what your galactic signature is. It is your kin number. And it's very important because this is the language of the new Earth. This is the language of where Earth is evolving to to know these future codes, as you said earlier, Ruben, that we put these things in stone as markers for ourselves to remember in the future when we would return to
Yeah.
complete the job. It's not like it's our first rodeo, so to speak. We've been a
Mhm.
part of, helping restore systems as much as also, like Barbara Marciniak wrote in Bringers of the Dawn, many of us are also systems busters. So we're
Mhm.
here to break up the delusion, the illusion, the artificial time construct, to break it up in the minds of people, to move through the density that has affected people's hearts in this
Yeah.
creation, so we can get to a newer expression, a higher vibration. That's why we're here. This is why we're doing all of this, to really see that outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have been emphasizing for years we are moving from harm to harmony. That's basically the process that we are undergoing, which is really shifting our minds, our hearts, our entire bodies into a new frequency that is connected to the larger patterns of the universe. And the of course the Gregorian calendar and the mechanical clock have been blocking that access to those frequencies in ways that we can not perceive clearly, because we are so used to the disharmony that we think that that's normal, but the synchronicity is the norm in nature, is not the exception. And we really want to amplify and expand our consciousness so that we can tune in into that magic and that beauty of the rhythms of the cosmos.
Absolutely. And in keeping with the rhythm of the cosmos, we are excited to be having this in-person experience for those who are inspired to join us in Palenque, Chiapas, Mexico, from the dates of October 10 to 17, Kin 200 through 207. Very, very beautiful, auspicious, powerful window of opportunity to anchor both ourselves and with others in that sacred space, a place unlike no other on the planet, honestly, a very, very
Hmm.
special sanctuary. I've had the honor to go there a couple of times this lifetime, and I know you the same, Ruben. We've had
Yes.
chances to be there. And I don't know, have we actually been there together? I don't think
No, we
we've been.
haven't.
This will be our first. We've been to other wonderful places, Chichen Itza and other amazing sites together, Teotihuacan.
Mhm.
However, this will be our first time this lifetime together
Mhm.
in Palenque, with
Yeah.
that caveat. This lifetime. Though, if you're like us and you do feel a resonance with Palenque and with this information and these codes, we encourage you to join us in person for this
Mhm.
amazing ceremony where we have Abuelo Nico, Abuelo Mario, two phenomenal elder presences uh, of the indigenous traditions of that territory are holding space with us. They're really honoring us by spending time and space with us in such a meaningful way at such an important moment and passage of time.
Yeah.
This is such a historical moment to be able to ground and share together with our brothers and our sisters and the family members there in Palenque is a true and genuine honor. So we do want to encourage people around the world who do feel that pull to join us in Palenque. And we're happy to say that we're hosting a space. There's no charge to participate. There is, of course, an invitation to bring donations to offer to the elders. When they do hold ceremonial space, it's customary to provide an offering of a donation or something meaningful
Mhm.
for them. Donations are, of course, welcome for that, but we're not charging. It's not a commercial event. We're not trying to exploit or make money off of folks in any kind of way. We're just really holding a very grounded space
Mhm.
that we set out those many episodes ago to break free from the zero sum game. And
Yeah.
so we're not going to go wrap people up in the zero sum game and hold them hostage for a dollar amount over participating in something sacred of this nature. We're not going to convolute or mix those waters at all. This is an
Yes.
open heart and open call event to people around the world. Now, you will have to cover, of course, your travel to Palenque. You can fly to Villahermosa. You can catch a very affordable bus from Villahermosa right to Palenque, where you can easily access Hotel Villa Mercedes, where we're being honored to be hosted by Hotel Villa Mercedes for our entire group, where the majority of the activities will be at the hotel. Now, we do have a timeline here, though, because they've offered special packages that we do want to encourage people to take advantage of. As I said, we're not charging anything for these events. Donations will be accepted. We are receiving from Hotel Villa Mercedes a wonderful package deal, but we encourage people to book soon because the deal is complete by the 15th of September. So they're going to shift and the pricing will be closed on this level of the deal. You will still be able to book, but you won't be able to book at this discounted price, nor with these different packages, as you can see on the screen. If you scan the QR or take a screenshot of the QR and then allow it to direct you to the URL, it will take you to a WhatsApp chat group relative to the booking of Hotel Villa Mercedes. That is one of the chat groups that we do have active out there right now. And another one is a general info chat group. I'll see if we have a visual for that as well to put on screen. But this that you're looking at is actually right there on our website. So we want to encourage you as well to go to theharmonicfactor.com and go under the golden intersection menu item /golden-intersection. And you'll find halfway down the page the info on the Return to Origin gathering in Palenque. This is going to be, honestly, a one-of-a-kind event that has never happened before and will never happen again, given the nature of what is being observed and the space being held. It is including several observations of Indigenous Peoples Day or Dia de las Razas, these other markers for the turning of the tide for Indigenous people worldwide. So it's no small thing. And as we know, many people seem to be stuck in a time loop, yet there are many others who are evolving with the earth. And it's important to know whose team you're on at this time, because you don't want to be stuck in that time loop. It's like getting caught in the undercurrent of the wave versus riding the wave. There's a big, big difference. Okay. So we want to encourage you to ride the wave, meaning be in the higher consciousness, be in the heart mind coherence space during this time to evolve with earth versus getting caught up in the turbulence of that undercurrent, because it's extremely strong. It's extremely strong right now. Though we are encouraged in knowing that many, many, many people are rising to the occasion and rising to this new opportunity. Now, many people are still confused. So we have to continue to burn off the delusion. We got to burn up the delusion to keep ourselves clear in our coherence, right? And so we're just inviting that, and a process of taking your purification, your healing, your detox into your own hands. Don't wait for them to do it. Nobody else can do it because they're spraying us with stuff out here on the daily. So we got to even keep up with it and vibrate higher than all these mechanisms they're trying to employ to control people. We don't have to participate in that, though. You can choose to not participate in that. And it's okay, because guess what? You're going to find a lot of other people there that are also choosing to not participate. And then among those, you create a whole new wave. And so we're inviting people to really get involved. I'm going to also put an additional link here in the chat. We want to encourage you to visit a partner website with our good and dear brother, King Etznab. And we want to encourage you to join us in literally building a better world. Because the fact of the matter is, and we want to send you the web link, you can find the website there. It's a very, very special organization. It's a special community in that it is an opportunity to truly come together in cooperation and set new standards, literally. And in so doing, we're actually doing active outreach to international communities, to people around the world, and in particular with a focus on the indigenous communities around the world, how we can actually show up with solutions that our brothers and sisters around the world who've been under the duress of these false systems can begin to employ to their advantage, to their true advantage, versus being under the duress or being the one exploited for control over everything, the way things have been, that zero-sum game. We really sincerely set out to break free from it. And I have to bear witness that by episode 27, when we did initially have King Etznab on, and the episode prior when Wanique suggested we have him on, we began to see manifestation of, how we can cooperatively really make these moves and define ourselves in this new window of opportunity, this year being the International Year of Cooperatives. And it can be no coincidence that the month within which the golden intersection of timelines is right in the middle is the International Month of Cooperatives, surrounded by various observations of the world's indigenous peoples. So again, IWB, Indigenous Water Bank Cooperative, we want to encourage you to go do some research, buildabetterworld.iwb.coop, and synchronize with us, because we're really pulling together cooperatively in the private sector. Let's be very clear. We're not dealing with public policy and all those other shenanigans. We don't have to do that anymore. That's always been, let's be very clear, unequivocally clear, that has always been a violation on our human and indigenous rights. We do not have to participate in that anymore, period. We can choose something different. We can literally choose to build a better world. The fact of the matter is, though, it's not going to build itself. It's going to be built by us. We have to do it together, right? They say together to get there. You got to go together to get there. So it's on us, myself included. I'm not putting out a call just to, talk smack. I'm saying, hey, y'all, come, let's build together. Build with us. Build with me. Let me build with you. Let's learn more about what that really means. So be in touch. Don't be afraid. We're putting all this stuff out to put the call out. And so we give thanks to the ancestors that have made it possible that we could be here now to retrieve our codes and activate them on time for the benefit of all humanity, honestly.
Yes.
Really and truly, that's what time it is. And that's the spirit that we're approaching this golden intersections of timelines with. Because you have this is a 0 point of real manifestation. So whatever's coming through that eye of the needle, it has got to be that right frequency and vibration. Because nothing else will make it through. It ain't going to make it through like that. It's going to be, it is what it is. So all we can say is stay in your heart, stay in your grace, stay in your light, like Baba Rasdi says, and continue to find ways to evolve your consciousness, contribute to the transformation of consciousness on this planet, because there's only one of us here, really and truly.
Absolutely.
So grateful to everybody tuning in and staying tuned. Just a quick snapshot so you see we have a beautiful program. If you join the chat for the general information that I'll share the screen with you on the screen, right, the QR for that as well, you can get the full itinerary and program for those 7 days, or rather 8 days, 7 nights in Palenque, tapping into this particular WhatsApp group. You'll get all the information you need for joining us in Palenque. And regardless of where you are when those days arrive, we do encourage you to really pause. No matter what's happening, it doesn't matter what day of the so-called week it is, pause. Off, disengage from the BS, okay? And, from whatever that may be, the belief system in this Babylon system ever really having you in heart and mind. It's a machine. It's cold and calculating. It does not function that way. Okay. It's not designed to function that way,
Yeah.
So we know it's not a space for us. So we got to build something better. And
Yeah.
fortunately, by nature's design, we're witnessing that.
Yeah, we really encourage people to spread the word as we approach this important threshold, because the more people that are attuned to what is happening, the more it amplifies. No?
Yeah.
It's a mirror effect. The more the observers observe the the the, the phenomena, the more the phenomena becomes real. So these are opportunities that, like you mentioned before, we left to ourselves to 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 remind ourselves of what this lifetime is all about, and this is certainly a major milestone within that journey that we decided to take when we arrived to this plane. So we encourage everyone to make this part of their conversations, and to share with friends and family, so that on that day, wherever you are, you can make that pause, go to your heart, and from there create any form of art from the heart that will elevate the energy from the personal to the collective, because that's what the name of the game is all about, is really to create a field of coherence and harmony that engulfs the entire planet.
Oh. So however you can, support this, share the word, spread the word, help us get those 144,000 signatures on this petition. We still have, several heptad before then, so we know it can be done. We're actively going to begin putting out our press releases far and wide. If you have any tips or any contacts at media desks where this could be received, please let us know. Drop us a line at info@theharmonicfactor.com, info@theharmonicfactor.com. Visit our website. You can download the press releases right there from the page. If you go to theharmonicfactor.com/golden-intersection, you'll find that information there as well. And this petition, again, is very important to us. We initiated this October 14th, the year 2016. So literally 9 years to the day that we did not know at that time. We were not aware of it at that point, but that it would be that day in that window of this most auspicious golden intersection. So bringing it to its fulfillment, its fullness at 9 years with 144,000 signatures seems most appropriate to me, being that 1 + 4 + 4 is 9, and all the nines align, and it's all divine. So yeah, we give great thanks. Again, we want to shout out Ishel and Alejandra, our 260 pod. We want to give thanks to Delia Sky, to all of our collaborators and our co-operators, TPH showing up forever. We give thanks for you. Yeah, we here to amplify that Zeta 9 frequency. It's really at this point in time, if you're out here and you're tuning in with this frequency, I'm pretty certain you are one of us. And being us, I would like to just affirm, as King Etznab so eloquently put in his phenomenal track, Anointed Ones, you are one of the anointed ones. And with that in mind, I think we're going to take it home on that high resonance tone and frequency. Thank you again, dear brother Rubén, for
Thank you very
your amazing wisdom and deep commitment to the shift in consciousness. This as you're navigating and completing your 52nd solar orbit, we might add.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. So the 52 + 1 factor in effect. To all our kin worldwide tapping in, thank you again for helping us get this resonance out there of this get. We really are. We would love to have your support in any way you can that you feel compelled or inspired or intuit to do. We welcome that because, we have a small team. We're a small but mighty team, but this is a big thing to hold. So we truly appreciate the help. And we send our dear brother Alejandra and Ruben off with safe travels. We know we'll have one more episode on Kin 161, no less, golden ratio frequency, right before you all go on 162 to make that important presentation on behalf of this knowledge base. So, aho, ashe, we give thanks in Lakesh, Alakin to everybody tuning in and staying tuned with us. We'll see you in the next heptad.
And now, not on your... Let that be a warning to you all.
Yo, this one is dedicated to the anointed ones, those who may have an anointedness on their lives and have a whole lot of secretly envious people pretending to be their friends, family, and loved ones.
Anointed ones cannot be purchased. Anointed ones do not sell their souls. Anointed ones are not to be touched. Listen while King El rate pop haters like a clutch.
Raise the black and gold flag. It shows signs of my spiritual ranking. The universe assigned it. Touch not my anointed. Alright, spiritual roles cannot be stolen. They can only be a sign. Slandering the souls encrypted by the divine. Make them all fold like laundry every time. The way that I rhyme is absent of flaws. Chosen ones are in tune with the cosmic law. Not ordinary people, Teflon and Rico. Modus operandi, yes, I'm the man I. Ujad of the Axis Mundi. Blast through your coonery and your buffoonery. Born with a frequency not of this earth. Connected to the crystal tone in the universe. My antiquated verse is far from outdated, and your antiquated hatred is grossly overrated. They tried to take something that wasn't theirs to touch, but I'ma shake something and pop them like a clutch. Touch not the anointed 105 book of songs with my God armor on. Do my prophets no harm? Before the quiet storm of the blue rhythmic, I bring the sky down on your head with my lyrics. For those who wanna tamper with the chosen sons and daughters, handpicked by the source and backed by a higher order, prepare for the slaughter of the 20 solar sun. Absu and Uju, my anointed one. What they planted in secret is growing worldwide. What they planted in secret was a bunch of damn lies. What they planted in secret, to your surprise, the universe used to make me thrive. In the year of the seed, I shall proceed. Nazu, Namu, Hamu, indeed. They can never leave well enough alone, so the Jaguar guards emerge from the throne. And the crown of the newborns carrying that helmet for the Luciferians and those that are hell-bent on stopping the divinely appointed. Look but don't touch, touch not the anointed. We cannot be bought, borrowed, or fake. Watch the universe slap them all in the shape. The all-time greats always get the most hate. You don't have to cut the grass to see all the snakes. They all try to take what is not even theirs. King got bread everywhere for his heirs. They hated with a passion yesterday. They was laughing low-key, finicky, with intents of hurting me. But today, they crying and begging for mercy. They just not worthy of my concern. All I know is I hope they all burn. It's rap God royalty with God in his sperm. Touch not the anointed 105 book of songs with my God armor on. Do my prophets no harm? Before the quiet storm of the blue rhythmic, I bring the sky down on your head with my lyrics. For those who wanna tamper with the chosen sons and daughters, handpicked by the source and backed by a higher order, prepare for the slaughter of the 20 solar sun. Absu and Uju, my anointed ones. Anointed ones. They better than me. Unify and build a better world with the Indigenous Water Bank Cooperative. Build a better world. .iwb.coop. Indigenous Peoples Time. World Indigenous Peoples Day. August the 9th. UN Drip. International Year Cooperatives in a new paradigm. Our resonance era.
Galactic Spin Podcast. Expand your view. Galactic Spin Podcast and expand your view.